Well, hello there and welcome to the video. So I purchased an Xbox One controller off of eBay. I purchased it for a little shy of £17. So the seller stated that Microsoft Xbox One Camo White official wireless controller, faulty spares, parts repair. All works fine apart from broken right stick. So I thought it would make a great repair video, so I ordered it and it arrived today. They weren't lying. It is a camo Xbox One controller, wireless, and it is in reasonably good condition. There are a few little cosmetic things I'll go into a little later in the video, but they are right that the right analog stick is broken. So let's get into it and let's see if there's anything else wrong with it. So here we have the controller itself. Now the left analog stick seems to be engaging and returning back to center okay. I will do some more thorough testing, make sure it switches on, make sure it works and everything. It is a little grimy around the edges. I'm not going to lie, it's not in the best of condition, but it's also not in the worst of condition. There are a few small scratches there that you'll be able to pick up on the camera. The right analog stick, it is really loose, okay? It is insanely loose. It's definitely not sitting anywhere near where it should be. Now, the seller did not state whether or not it had been opened before. So I am seeing a few little flaws here. You might be able to pick that up on the camera next to my thumb, where it looks like the plastic has been pried open. So I think this controller has been opened before. But let's have a look in the battery compartment.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man!
Oh god, there it is. Yep, it has been opened before. The sticker has been removed. That's disappointing, and well, I don't know what state it's going to be in. It does look like it's got a Torx security screw, so we will get into that a little bit later in the video. The trigger buttons do have a good amount of spring to them, which is good, but yeah, that analog stick is just, there's nothing to it at all. Every other button clicks the way it should. So yeah, we'll get some batteries in it and we'll see what's working and what isn't. Now, I don't actually have an Xbox right now to connect this to. I don't know whether it's going to sync. Now, I've seen other YouTubers try to do this. Let's see if I can. It's always made me giggle when they've tried to do this. So let's see if I can do this. Nice. Okay, so the batteries are in. Let's see if it powers on. It does. We do have a light and it is trying to sync. That's really good. It's obviously not going to be able to sync to anything because I don't have an Xbox One to test it on currently. But that's really good. We got power, so that's a positive. I think the next step is to try and get this apart and see what's going on with this analog stick. The first thing, we'll take the batteries out. We'll get the appropriate size torque piece. 8 or 9. Let's try the 8. That one slipped a little bit. Let's try the 8. Actually looks similar to the PlayStation 4 screws they do. In terms of getting this apart and open, I have absolutely no idea where to start. I've never taken one of these apart. I'm guessing it's going to be there. Okay, you've got a pry point there. It goes around to there. So that must mean there's a pry point here. And oh, it does come apart quite easily, this. I just don't want to break anything. I do actually have a pry tool, so let's try using that. Metal pry tools are a little bit harsh, but I am being very gentle. Okay, so that's that side popped open. Okay, that's that side prized apart, and it looks like it separates down here. This is where this scratchy bit, this bit of plastic might have been lifted slightly. Yeah, you can. I'm beginning to see here where there's a little bit of pry damage. Really never been in these before, so this is new territory for me. Okay, so this side bit seems to have mostly come. Oh, there we go. Hey, it's off. Okay, so No other screws appear to be there. Should there be a screw there? There should be a screw there, I think. That goes all the way through the board. I definitely think this has been taken apart before. Okay, so that's off as well, and there's a screw missing there, I believe. Right, there's 2 screws down here at the bottom, that's why it's not separating, so let's get those out as well. I definitely think this has been taken apart before. Okay, let's move these out of the way for a moment. Okay, we're in. That already looks so much better being taken apart. Upon close inspection, the board seems a little bit grimy. There's almost like a little bit of flux here and there, but that could be factory. So I'm not getting too worried at this point about that. Does this come out of here? It does. Oh! Okay, right. So I've got the cover case off. That is really quite disgusting. Oh, I don't know whether you can pick that up on the camera here, but that is grimy as hell. At the very least, this is going to need a good clean. Certainly the case is. And if I can find any more screws to put in there, that would be great as well. All in all, it's not looking too bad in here. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. It's a little bit sticky. Okay, so this is the analog board here, so we're gonna have to try and get this apart and open as well. How I'm gonna do that, I really don't know. I spot 2 screws and they look like extremely small Torx bits. There's a screw here near my thumb down here, and there's a screw here on the right hand side. Carefully. That's 1 screw out. There we go. Okay, does that free up this board at all? Is it connected? It's connected here as well. There we disconnect that. I believe that's the Wi-Fi antenna. Is this plugged in here? Or is it? I'm wondering actually if it's a complete board that comes out. I'm trying to see. Trying not to pull too much, but that is really bizarre. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit of pressure needed, and out it pops. Oh dear.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
That's come out of the somewhere. But the board is out. It is released somewhat. Okay. Okay, so we're in. It does look like it plugs in here to down there, and it looks also like this is the sound port. Looks okay, I think. It's got to sit in there somehow. Oh God, butterfingers. Worry about that later. Okay, so we have the analog stick, and as you can see, that is quite clearly snapped off. That is not good. I'm beginning to understand now. So this has broken clean off of this here. You can see where it's sheared off. I'm wondering actually if I can save this and get that out. It's going to be, I'm afraid, a new analog stick. I'm going to have to obviously desolder these joints here and replace the analog stick itself. The right analog stick doesn't look too bad, but yeah, this stick has just plainly snapped off. There's no getting around that. What I might try and do is, can I coax this piece of plastic out and save the actual analog stick, because it's in reasonable condition. It's not too bad. So if I can save that, that would be really cool. Trying to get this out though is a bit of a pain, obviously, because it's just broken so much. Let's see if I can. Oh, I might be able to work that out. That's coming out. That is coming out. So that's. Oh, try not to slice my finger or anything like that. As you can see, that is starting to make its way out. So I can get in there we go.
Well, bravo!
Well, at least we've saved this part of it. This is going to test me in my extreme lack of soldering skill. So yeah, I'm going to order up an analog stick. That is clearly broken. That clearly needs replacing, and hopefully we can get this back up and running and restored to its former glory.
3 days later.
Okay, so the sticks have arrived. I'll show you those in just a short second. I'm going to try desoldering the analog stick and resoldering a new one on. Now, I am a complete solder novice. I don't have the best setup, but it has served me well in the past. So I'm going to give this a go. Please bear with me. This is not something I've really done before. I'm going to give it a go. Maybe try a few different techniques, see what I can do. Hopefully I don't damage this board, but we'll see. Okay, so the sticks arrived. I also managed to get some screws for the controller, different sizes, so we'll put those to one side for later. Should we actually get this up and running? I ordered 4 because if this works, I want to try and get another controller and do exactly the same thing. But these are all new analog sticks. I lost one. So yeah, let's see if we can do something about this and get this analog stick off. So we have our controller. Let me just take these bits out. Now, in order to get this out, I'm going to have to desolder these wires, which is easy enough, even for me. But I am just going to take a very quick picture just to make sure that when I go to put the wires back on, I'm putting them on in the right place. Got a picture of where they're supposed to go. I can always refer back to the video if I need to. Okay, so there may be a little bit of noise because I'm trying to keep a well-ventilated area. One thing I don't have is a fume extractor, but I have opened up all the windows. And we're just going to have a little bit of air. Let's grab a pair of tweezers if I can find some. That's one. Switch over to the microscope so you can see what I'm doing. Go for number 2 here. Okay. There we go. Move that out of the way. And same with the other side. That's one. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Okay, so the one that we're wanting to take off is this one here. You see that's a broken one. So I flip the board over and it's literally just this one here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, so hopefully you'll be able to see everything that I'm doing, even when I'm really cocking this up. I've got a bit of tape here. I'm just going to lift that out of the way. I know that's there to protect some of the circuitry and components. I want to try and protect these components from any heat that I might generate. Now, there's 2 ways I think of doing this. One is to try and melt the solder and suck it out, and the other one is to heat the board. However, I don't really fancy heating the board because of all the other components that are on here. and I'm just not experienced enough to do that. So we're going to try a solder sucker approach there. I'm going to apply a bit of flux, but I'm not going to apply a lot of flux. I'm going to apply a bit of flux to each point and see how I get on with that. Let's focus on this one. What was that? Let's focus on this one right here. Beautiful. Maybe a little bit too much there, but we shall see. The first time I'm doing this, so do bear with me on this. Yeah, I may have to yet readjust. Okay, that looks like a good hole. That went very well. Yeah, try not to breathe in the fumes. A little bit more flux. And the next one, let's do a few. That's 2. It's going quite well so far, he says. That's 3. Slightly bigger, but still looking good. Oh, I missed one. Okay, so far these are essentially quite well released. I'm quite surprised at that. We'll work our way around. A little bit of flux. Yeah. Okay, so the next one. Lovely. Lovely. Looking good. That one, I don't think actually did all too much. Let's try again. Looking a bit better. Still a bit there though. Let's see if we can solve that. Still attached, but it is what it is. We can always go run around again and just tidy up. As far as I'm aware, it's these remaining 5. So let's go again. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to stop there, and all in all that looks pretty good. I'm just going to flip the board over and see if there's any... oh, there's play. Right, okay, so that's good. So what we don't want to do is just yank this off because it's going to damage some traces, but as you can see there's a bit of movement there. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more heat to some pins. See where it is sort of tacking on. I think it's at the back here. You can sort of see it's starting to lift some pads. So we've got to be very, very careful. So we're just going to apply a bit of heat where necessary. Maybe add a little bit more flux. Oh. Well, that didn't go right, did it? I thought I was picking up my solder sucker. I've literally just got like this really big glob of flux. So let's try and save that for later, shall we? It's just going to stay there doing what it's doing. Right, let's try again. I've got my solder sucker, and we're just going to heat this pin up. Grab a bit of this flux. Okay. And this one. And we're just going to keep applying a bit of heat until that wants to come loose. How are we looking? Okay, so it's still hanging on. There's a little tug from underneath while applying some heat. There, you see. A little tug. And out it comes. Just like that. As easy as that. So, yeah. That's the broken analog stick, as you can see. That has come away so easily. I think we'll call that a success. That's possibly the easiest that could have gone. So I'm just going to lay this spare flux all over. I'm going to just apply some solder wick and try and clean that up a bit, because I've never used solder wick, so this should be interesting. I'm going to have to go a little bit cack-handed here, but let's give this a go, shall we? I'm really wanting to get all this solder up as much as possible. It's already looking loads better. Maybe a little bit more here. Ooh. Now we're going to give it a clean with some IPA. Our good friend, the IPA. It's very, very good, yeah? Okay, so that's clean enough for now. Firstly, let's situate it in the hole. So you sort of see, like, push in there. To be fair, friction is doing a pretty good job there, to be honest, isn't it? It's staying in and it's staying flat against the board, so I'm happy with that. I think we're okay to resolder. So I'm just going to flux the area just a little bit on each one, just to help the solder flow a bit. Just checking that's still flush to the board. Touch this one up. I'm reasonably happy with that for a first attempt. I'm actually quite happy with that. We've got no bridges so far as I can tell. No bridge connections. Each pin looks solid. We'll just flip the board over again. Just make sure the analog stick is in place. Yeah, that's not bad going. Little cap there as well. It looks level. And that looks solid as a rock. So let's do a final cleanup and see if this works. I'll try and get a game tester up on the PC just to confirm it works. Okay, so that's actually looking a lot better, a lot cleaner. I am quite happy with that. I'm quite satisfied. That is soldered. I think the real challenge here is going to be putting this back together. Okay, so yeah, that went really well. I'm actually really over the moon. I'm ecstatic that that went so well. Carefully take that off, because I don't want to damage any of the components. And yeah, the analog stick is looking really good. It's sitting well, it's sitting where it should. I'm going to solder these back on. I'm just going to refer to my photo. Oh, actually, it goes that way. You moron. I'm such an idiot. I may have to add a bit more solder onto there, because that's not exactly a lot, is it? Though that does appear to have stuck down. I'm just going to add a little bit more to it just to make it do that apparently. So that's on. I'm going to do the same with the right hand side. So we'll get the rumble for the right hand side. Might add a bit more to that again. That's on. I'm going to make my tweezers for this one, I think. You fiddly beggar. You fiddly you are. Okay, so that's on. Black to the south. And grey to the north. Lovely. Let's put the cover sticks on. Lovely. Now if I recall, this went on... Oh no, it goes in there. It just sits in there. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Right, that sits in there. I don't think that cover goes on there yet, because it's got to fit through the hole. So let's pull that off, and that should go on there. Okay, that's good. Pop this back in here. Pop this back in here. Now, where did this go? What did this attach to? This attached to something, didn't it? Ah, I see it. Okay, so that goes in there. This is good. I'm just going to clean up this trigger button. I'm not happy with the state of this trigger button here. That is very sticky. The button depresses, but as soon as the other button's engaged, it's rubbing. So let me just clean that up. Do the other one just for good measure. I will do a video where I'll strip this down and give it a good clean. I think a separate video though. Grime here. That is, for lack of a better word, just nasty. Oh, look at that. That is full blown a finger cheese. Okay. I will give it a good clean. A better clean than this, I think. A little bit, another time. Right, so we've got the shell and everything, so that's good. Find the right piece for it. I left everything out, but I've since been doing another repair, so everything got a little disorganised and a little messy. Beautiful. And the other side. Beautiful. tell me in the comments if you think that I can do it again. Works for me. Click that back on. That is feeling so much better. It still lights up and it still tries to sync. Fantastic. Right, I'm going to get it hooked up to a controller tester of sorts and we'll go from there. As with so many others in the repair community, I have a voice over me. So voice over me is basically letting you know that this absolute moronic imbecile, in order to test the gamepad, decided to unplug the microphone so you couldn't actually hear anything. So, spoiler alert, the controller works, albeit except for the right button. As you can see, he's frantically pushing away at this button and it's not showing up on the tester. So, as you can imagine, the controller has to come apart again. Okay, so this is the board. This is the button that is causing us problems. Okay, let's do a little inspection. Let's see if we can put it into frame. So that there is continuity. That isn't. That is. That's continuity. That's not. So that's the pin that gets pushed in. I'm going to do my best to keep all of this in view. If we go there. Right, you hear that? I'm making continuity. I've got continuity, but it's intermittent. I'm pushing the button on the other side of the board. Yeah? There you go. That's continuity. So let's see what we can do about that. I'm going to try some IP8 and a toothbrush. Now just work it in. Could just be that the button's broken and we'll have to get a new button for it. We have better continuity. Beautiful. That is working so much better now. So we'll get the controller back together and we'll see what happens with a further test. It's not the best cable in the world, but let's go to scene 8. Right. Okay. Left button. Right button. Lovely. Right trigger, left trigger. B11 there, that's lighting up because I'm pushing the analog stick in. So left analog stick, there's a little bit of drift, it's not too bad, I'm happy with that. Goes back to center nicely. That new one returns to center nicely. I can always change this one if I want to a little bit later on. There is a little bit of a delay that I may need to give that button a further clean, but it is working again. As you can see, that is working pretty nice. That button there, that one, 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 that one. That is a fully working controller. It's a bit intermittent, that one. You have to push down a little higher. But again, I might get some proper cleaner, button cleaner for that. And I will take this apart and clean it up properly. So yeah, it's fixed. I can't believe it. It's actually fixed. I've got myself a Xbox controller, camo controller, and I got it for £16. Now I spent £4.99 on 4 of these analog sticks. You'd say that they're about £1.25 each. So far, this controller has cost me around about £18.25, and a little bit of time and some valuable practice, because I'm not massively experienced when it comes to soldering techniques and soldering in general. I've actually damaged a few electronics really badly by soldering, but apparently I learned quite well. Now, I've been watching YouTube repair channels now for many years, okay? And to name a few great ones, and I highly recommend you go and check these out if you haven't already. It's Phil the Coder at the Coder. I will put all of these into the description of this video. Joey Does Tech is another great one. He's got a lot of experience with Xbox One S's and Switches. He's a genuinely nice fella. I couldn't recommend his channel enough. Stez Sticks Fix, he's absolutely brilliant. His videos are highly entertaining. Wayne's World of Repairs, there's so many channels out there, I couldn't name them all, but to those guys I wanted to say a big thank you, and this is from the heart. Now, I've not really been an active part of the repair community. I've been in the background and I've done the occasional video, which I kind of consider easy fixes. But you guys have given me the confidence to tackle something which is costing me money. I'm not well off. I don't have any spare cash. What I do have goes to the family, but it's very rare that I can actually buy a broken electronic and fix it. That was why I fix a lot of my stuff. So I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for giving me the confidence to go ahead with something like this, because £16 doesn't sound like a lot, and for an Xbox controller it's not a lot, but it is a lot of money for a potential failure. And I didn't think I could fix it. I was going in confident but inexperienced, and I went in and I fixed this controller up. I don't yet have an Xbox One to test this with, but that will change. I'll get something and hopefully it will sync up and it will work. But for the time being, this is a working controller. I am so over the moon. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for sticking with me to the end. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. You please hit that subscribe button if you like this video, and check out those other channels as well. They're an absolutely stellar bunch of guys with some great YouTube content, so please check them out. I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
I need the silence, stop the violence of the war in my head. Time's the healer, the eraser of all done and said. And as I fall back to my shelter, I know I'll only find peace in your smile.